Big things are happening for Squid Chess. First of all, the Steam page is live, finally. So, if you like weird chess spin-offs, especially those with Auto Battler and roguelike inspirations, you should definitely go add this game to your wishlist. And if you don't like those things, I am sorry, but you should still wishlist Squid Chess. Anyway, on the development side of things, I have actually made some pretty big changes. I wanted to avoid what happened before the last video, where I basically didn't work on it for 3 months. And there is no shame in being the slowest game developer to ever live. I mean, although an important part of game development is actually developing the games. As I mentioned in the last update, I have finally added the potion casting system that I wanted to add for a while. It's not fully comprehensive, there's only 4, maybe 5 potions in there so far, but I'm pretty happy with how it has turned out. I think it is actually pretty fun to stack like 1 billion potions onto your pieces and give them, for instance, super speed. I'll have to think of some more cool things to do with those. I do have a list of potential potion ideas, but of course it's mainly going to be the ones that produce obvious feedback which are going to be the most fun. As was foretold in devlogs past, I will now need to heavily rebalance the game to support the super buffed player side pieces. In particular, I noticed I was actually able to gain so many potions that it was hard to even cast them all before the battle ends. And some of that is just because I've been buying way too many potions, like 50 potions at a time. But also, I think the battles are just over too fast now that the player can get 10 times speed and never die. So I'll probably increase the health and the shields of all the enemies, and I'll see how that works out. In addition, I've also changed the way that the world generation happens, so the safe world now only has about 2 or 3 battles in it compared to maybe 25 before, and it has a lot of potion shops. So this makes it easier to gain new pieces, as I'll discuss in a few moments, and also the basic potions. And in general, it allows a good testing bed for me, and also for how potions work without risking anything. I think if I'm going to make a demo for Squid Chess, which I would kind of like to do, I expect it would just include the safe world. It's actually pretty fun, and you can build up a little team just replaying that a few times. Thankfully, I no longer have the terrible problem of lacking actual interactivity with the game world. The potions seem to have fixed that quite effectively. I'll have to work out which potions to add next, so that the player will still be required to think about which potions to use instead of just spamming them randomly, since that seems to be the way to go at the moment. I think a good way of doing that will be to add area of effect potions, where you have to actually think about which areas of the board you want to do a potion effect on, like a freeze effect or maybe a plague effect later on. Right now, it is easy and tempting and honestly really fun to just spam all your potions on like a single ally piece. And that's because they're easy to click on. But that's only about half of the game. I mean, I do think defensive potions are really fun at the moment because the buffs, they last like 30 seconds, 90 seconds, so they go between games, and it is cool to see on the main menu after you win the world that they're still sparkling from having like 100 potions cast on them at once. I'll definitely have to think of more of those. I've got some ideas like ELO increase, and I had another one 3 seconds ago, I already can't remember it. The other half of the game though is the offensive potions, which I suppose you would want to cast on the enemies. It's currently possible to throw hot soup, which is the only offensive potion, and that just burns whatever is on the tile, much like what would happen if you actually threw hot soup on somebody. That being said, you currently get so many healing buffs just from spamming potions that it pretty much does no damage if you accidentally cast it on your own pieces. Also, I still need to fix the weird atypical chess pieces. They're still not fully back from when I overhauled the board like 6 or more months ago. After that, I'll need to even add some more. And also on the agenda, I need to polish up the upgrade system on the main menu with some extra feedback effects. It's not really a great experience just clicking randomly on pieces until you find one with a buyable upgrade. I think something as simple as a star icon on a piece with a purchasable upgrade would fix that. Similarly, they just disappear when they're clicked, and they randomly show up once unlocked, and there's no particular feedback for that. It happens really under the hood. I think I'd like all the upgrades to be visible at once, and the purchased ones are sent to the bottom of the list with some indicator that they were purchased, and the locked ones are there, but they're locked, and they tell you what elo threshold you need to unlock them. Also, in general, I think gaining pieces is way better now. I decided to make it so that you can't just buy as many as you want from the shop, because it was pretty devaluing and annoying to lose pieces when it just means you have to now be underpowered until you find a shop. Plus, since the elo and the progression hinges on having pieces that don't die, and respawning prevents them from dying in the first place, I decided to use some of my virtual pet design skills and have them hatch out from an egg after you beat the world. Since the safe world is shrunk already, it's really tiny, this means that it's way easier to get enough pieces for a viable army. It's a mild punishment for failing in the later levels in that you need to briefly grind in this lower level world until you get back to where you were. Also, pending changes in the design, I have removed email notifications after every world completion. Part of this is because the safe world now takes about 2 minutes to finish, and I just don't think it's that necessary, to be honest. I think what would make sense would be to implement achievements for doing things or completing certain milestones, and then to email the player based on achievement unlocks. Although that's a little bit far away right now, and I don't want to handle the Steam API yet. I think it would be best to add a built-in achievement tracker, rather than relying only on Steam achievements as I had done in the past. That way, if I get this game on some DRM-free website, it wouldn't be as hard. So, in conclusion, Squid Chess is finally actually a game. I mean, it's not over until it's over, but I'm really happy with the direction that it's going in. I made all of these changes right after setting up the Steam page, so I have a lot of screenshots from the old versions still in there. But I'll be updating the Steam page as time goes on to try and hone in on the main points and remove some of the older stuff from the page. And again, if you haven't, please go check it out and add it to your Steam wishlist. I learned recently that Steam has a playtest thing built into it, so I'll probably try that out sometime later. At the current rate, my goal, tentatively, is to get a demo build ready and polished before the end of 2026. So before the end of next year, some kind of a demo. And then the full game, hopefully, can release before the end of 2027. So I'm giving myself essentially 2 more years to get the full game done, which sounds manageable, but you never know. It could be 2037. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more videos about Squid Chess, because now I can actually say that it is seeming like a game. Goodbye.